Good evening, everyone. It is David Schlotthauer here, Friday, June the 9th, 2023, with an evening update on the severe weather that is anticipated for your Saturday. That looks pretty significant, with very large hail, damaging wind gusts that could exceed 65 miles an hour, and a few tornadoes. Not only that, we are talking about some very dangerously hot temperatures, with temperatures that could soar well over 105, 110 degrees that could lead to serious heat-related problems across the Deep South and Texas. Now, if you're new to the channel and you really like these video updates, please consider subscribing if you're new, hitting the like button, and sharing this video with their family and friends on social media. So without further ado, let's take a look at our HRRR model. This is the high resolution rapid refresh. This is the meso model that we like to use during severe weather events because this gives us an idea, a simulated look at what might happen, where and when these thunderstorms will move into your area, or when and where these storms will develop. So this is a look at this evening for Saturday, early morning, June the 10th. We can see a few showers and thunderstorms here approaching central Kansas. If you are in southwestern Texas, you got some showers and thunderstorms. This will continue throughout the day tomorrow with a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms here on the HRRR. We got more showers moving into the central southern Missouri, into northern Arkansas. But it's going to be in the afternoon hours when these storms do look to fire up. And we can see the first round of storms approaching the eastern and southeastern Texas region right around, say, about 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time. This is for your Saturday. So if you're doing anything outdoors, if you're doing any shopping, just keep that in mind. We do have a band, an intense MCS band of showers and storms. We got a few pop-up storms in northern Arkansas, but going forward, that first band rolls through, and then we got a second band of storms that could fire up in central northern Texas, across the Red River Valley in Oklahoma and Texas, approaching the same areas by the time we go into tomorrow night. So again, it's going to be these waves of showers and thunderstorms, including a few pop-up showers and storms up there across Kansas, but more organized storms do occur down here across the Deep South and the south central portion there of Texas, and then those storms should die off by the time we go into Monday morning. Here's a look at the NAM 3-kilometer model, a different way of looking at what this model thinks. This is the North American Meso model, by the way. That's what NAM stands for, and the 3-kilometer means how high resolution it actually is in grid points. So we can see showers and storms here popping up for about 5 in the morning for central northern Oklahoma on the NAM. And the NAM really illustrates that there is going to be a pretty intense MCS. As you can see here, it's an outline. It's kind of a banana-shaped looking system. This is what we call MCSs, or mesoconvective systems. These systems typically have a lot of wind with them, so we can be looking at wind gusts between 60 to 65 miles an hour, and at times we can get some large hail, probably the size of quarters, maybe even a little larger. And that's going to really lead to the potential for some hail damage. Not only that, there might be a tornado on the southern flank of this, especially if we get any backed surface winds and back building storms on the southern or the western flank of this line of storms that forms. And then we might see some storms pop up in central Texas. So two different models show two different things and really gets going here by the afternoon hours. So by 7 and 8 o'clock, we could see that line of storms move through this eastern and southeastern region of Texas, with, again, the storms pretty similar between the two models for northern Kansas, for Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri. But again, down here will be ground zero for the strongest storms. And there are two distinct bands, band 1 here, and then band 2 comes through shortly thereafter by Saturday night. Therefore, the Storm Prediction Center has issued a level 3, which is an enhanced risk for severe weather. This includes for Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. This includes for Tyler, Texas. This includes for Central Texas, as well as portions there of southeastern Texas, northwestern Louisiana, and southwestern portion there of Arkansas, and far southeastern tip here of Oklahoma. This is not just your typical enhanced risk. This is only driven by a marginal risk for tornadoes. So there's a 2% risk for at least 1 or 2 tornadoes tomorrow across central Texas, south central Oklahoma, but it's mainly driven by the wind. Okay, this is a 30% non-sig for damaging winds, but still in all, that's a fairly high chance that you're going to see some strong winds that could blow down trees, power lines, could blow off roofs, could blow your trash can over. Just keep that in mind. But it's going to be the hail that is going to really cause a lot of the problems here. We're looking at 2+ inches in diameter of hail and across the enhanced risk of severe weather. Very interesting that the 2 models that we just looked at really do not show a lot of coverage, while more so on the HRRR does show this. That's why there's that enhanced risk that is issued over here, because of that line of storms, but really not. Yeah, actually, it's popping up very nicely within that enhanced risk of severe weather. So actually, SPC did a pretty good job at covering this quite well. All right, so again, 30 sig for hail, that's 2+ inches in diameter, a 30% 60 mile an hour wind chance for eastern Texas, and of course, 1 or 2 tornadoes are not out of the question tomorrow. So now that we talked about our severe weather, there's also another thing that we have to mention in this video, and that is going to be the fierce, serious heat that you all will be dealing with in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and even the Carolinas, and I will add in Florida within this video. There's going to be some very hot temperatures that will exceed 105, 110, and we might go for 115 for Pete's sakes, for southwestern Texas, like Austin, Texas, maybe for portions of Fort Stockton, Texas, could get some very, very dangerous heat, okay? The heat that you do not want to deal with, all right? So we're going to go forward. We're going to look at tomorrow's temperatures. Tomorrow is kind of the transition day because you got these storms that are going to be impacting your area, so they should bring down temperatures. So a funny thing enough about this is you're going to have temperatures probably in the low 90s before these storms pop up, and then it cools off into the mid 70s once the thunderstorms move over to your area. Hence is why we're going to see the damaging winds, because we're going to get evaporative cooling. That air is dense and it wants to spread out in all quadrants. Usually in the storm's forward flank movement is where you're going to get the strongest winds though. But look at this, for eastern, or for western Texas, I should say, is where you're going to see the most hottest temperatures. And so therefore, let's kind of zoom in, because this is where we're zeroing in on the most dangerously hot temperatures in days to come. So let's fast forward this all the way into, this is for Sunday morning, temperatures only in the mid 70s. You're going to warm it up pretty quickly throughout the day. You're going to have temperatures between 100 to 105 degrees in central, southwestern Texas. When you get temperatures at or above 105 degrees, that could cause some serious heat stroke, heat-related illnesses, and you could get heat exhaustion very quickly. So if you're doing anything outdoors, just keep that in mind. Stay in the shade during hot days. If you're forced to work outside, if you're with a company and you're doing utility work, just be aware of that. If you're wanting to get outside in the morning hours and beat the heat, do so before, say, 9 or 10 o'clock, because once we get past that, that's when temperatures are going to be at or above 95 or 100 degrees. So going forward now into Monday morning, you're going to have temperatures in the mid 70s, okay? So another thing about this heat wave that you all want to be aware of is that there's going to be some really warm overnight lows, okay? I want to make that clear with you all. If you go further north, say like Iowa, maybe the Dakotas, overnight lows in the low to mid 50s. But it's when we get into these heat waves for the deep south and Texas area, you don't cool off very quickly. And so you're going to have really warm overnight lows. So if your house does not have an AC unit, you're going to really have a hard time sleeping. You're going to have the whole house fan to help cool off your house instead. Because when we go into Monday, it's going to be hot again. Temperatures here between 100 to 105 degrees. Let's kind of take a closer zoomed in view at that a little more closely. You can see there 105, maybe 110 degrees in the hottest spots. And then again, staying in the mid to upper 70s at night. Same thing happens. Could even be much hotter by Tuesday. All throughout here, you're going to have temperatures 105 plus. Some areas here, even 110 degrees. 113 here in Mexico, right across Texas there. You've seen some very dangerously hot temperatures. And then look at this, 112 degrees, 110. Oh my goodness. Even 100 degrees here in Louisiana and southern Mississippi. Extremely dangerous. Okay, the heat that you do not want to be dealing with. And this continues all the way into, say, Thursday, where your temperatures here, 105 plus in Texas. Even Arizona, going to see some warming temperatures, as well as California. And then look at this, even hotter. I know I'm taking too long to cover this portion of the video, but seriously, folks, this is pretty serious. I mean, we got 113 there, even on the plot here, 115 degrees. Wow, that is very dangerous. Even southernmost Texas, very hot, and it's going to be that way for a while. Not much relief in sight. Now, if you don't like it this hot, you have to go north, because look at the apparent temperatures. Be feeling, ooh, it's going to be not, it won't feel really good out there, because you're going to add in the humidity, and you're also going to add in the heat index. And look, it might feel like 116 degrees for central and southern Texas for your Monday. For your Tuesday, let's take a look at this. It might even feel hotter. Look at this, might feel like 117 degrees down here in southern Texas. Yeah, because you have dew points in the upper 70s. Yeah, it's not going to feel good at all. I'm sorry, folks. Look at this, 115 degrees on Thursday or Wednesday. Thursday, not as bad as heat indexes, but 110 degrees. It's still going to be there all the way through Friday. So some really, really tough days ahead. I mean it, folks. Please take the morning hours to your advantage. Go shopping, walk the dog, do anything outdoors, because once we get past 10 o'clock, it is really going to be hot outside. All right? So just take my advice seriously. Water, stay in the shade, stay inside. So here's a look at your temperature anomaly forecast. To go forward, yeah, temperatures will be above average here for the deep south. We could be looking at record high temperatures, by the way. Temperatures 10 to 15 degrees above average, 10 to 15 degrees above average for the northern tier of the U.S. Look at this, temperatures below average in the midsection of the United States, including for the western half. Let's go forward here. Yeah, that's temperatures right there, about 15 degrees, maybe 18 degrees above average for central Texas. Yeah, that's very dangerous. That is very hot. And when we take a look at your temperature anomaly forecast, your actual, yeah, that's 20 degrees above normal for your daytime highs. There will be records, I guarantee that. So just keep that in mind. Record heat is coming. The heat wave is here. This pattern's going to cause problems. So here's a look at your 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, and we can clearly see above average temperatures for the deep south. There's a likelihood of record high temperatures below average for the northeast and also for the western half of the U.S. Continuing to see that for the 8 to 14 day forecast. When you take a look at our 6 to 10 day outlook, above average precipitation likely for the Rockies for the Intermountain West, including leaning above average chances for portions of the southeast. Still below average for the Great Lakes and below average there for the deep south. Unfortunately, you guys really need the rain, and the heat is going to only make things a lot drier and a lot worse. The 8 to 14 day forecast still calls for drier weather for the deep south, above average for the Rockies and for much of the Intermountain West for this time of the year. The monsoon still kicking butt in the higher elevations. Anyways, though, if you did like today's detailed weather forecast and discussion, please consider subscribing, sharing this video with your family and friends on social media, and also leaving an awesome comment in the section below this video. You guys are very awesome, and I'll be back with you more tomorrow afternoon with more detailed updates on the weather. We'll possibly do, or likely do, a hurricane outlook and discussion for tomorrow, since we haven't done that in a few days.